This is my lab bench power supply. The display on the right supports up to 50 volts and 8 amps, while the display on the left supports up to 60 volts and 20 amps. And on top of that, both of them can be chained in series to give me 110 volts. So first I bought all of the parts needed for the power supply, and then I made a CAD design to hold all of them together. I made most of it in one day, but I still had to print multiple test pieces and update the design over the following 3 days. This is my 3D printer doing the work for me, but unfortunately the piece on the right had to be reprinted, and the piece on the left was really close to getting reprinted. It just barely worked. This is the front panel. As you can see, it has some nice reinforcements behind it to make it much stiffer. And here is the front panel again. It's now dressed up with those fancy displays and buttons and plugs and whatever, except the wiring. The wiring comes later. The larger power converter is mounted down there, almost under, and it barely fit inside there. This is one of the reasons why I said that I almost had to reprint this whole box. Both of the power supplies will be held by those two H brackets. I chipped out a little bit on the power supplies, so the maximum output limit for the weaker display is only 240 watts, and the maximum output for the stronger display is gonna be only 600 watts. Or at least I hope so, because the bigger power supply has this label saying that it only supports up to 80% of its rated power, which doesn't make any sense. So if I can only draw 80% of its power, why don't you just label it with 20% less power? Oh yeah, it's finished! The rainbow spaghetti is complete. I just only have to screw in the front panel, which shouldn't be that hard because I made the screw holes too large, which is kind of a problem, but it's just enough to hold itself together, so it's okay, I'm not gonna reprint it. I'm gonna use this power supply to power my 3-phase motor controller, about which I'm making a video right now. So be sure that you're subscribed to see when it comes out. Oh yeah, and by the way, did I mention that I'm not gonna be doing any stress tests on those power supplies? I just really need this thing to work. So yeah, the light bulb is all that you're gonna get.